Hey y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. Today it's another beautiful day here on the farm, and it's actually morning right now, and this is the first time ever when we are pressing cider during the day. I'm actually skipping class today because we have to press cider and then we have to go finish planting those strawberries. The reason we're pressing cider this morning is that tomorrow is Saturday and we have another event to go to. It's a fall festival and we need cider for that, and we do have a little bit of cider left in the cooler, but it won't be enough, so we got to press another 300 or 400 gallons today. So that's the plan for today. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and you guys stay tuned for today's video. Don't forget to hit that little notification icon to come into you guys 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and you guys stay tuned for today's video. Before we get started into making the cider, I want to talk a little bit about our pasteurizer. I've had a few questions as to how we pasteurize our cider, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into detail about talking about that. So this is our pasteurizer right here. This is a CiderSure. It comes out of New York, I believe, in that area, but the research was made at Cornell University, and this is it's specifically done and made for apple cider, because the commercial apple cider guys, they use a flash pasteurization cider. I gotta wash this bucket because I'm rinsing it out right now, so if I keep looking at that, don't think I'm anyways, the research was made strictly for apple cider because the commercial guys who press apple cider, they flash pasteurize it, and flash pasteurization is where they heat it up to 161 degrees for 3 seconds and they cool it back down. But what this pasteurizer does right here, it processes the apple and processes the cider, and it kills the bacteria while the cider is still cold. And one thing that is very important whenever the cider is still cold, that the pectin inside the juice doesn't break down, and we still get the amazing flavor, amazing taste, and the quality that we want, and for our customers to enjoy our apple cider. And this cider press, or the pasteurizer right here, this one right here, the one we have, could pasteurize 100 gallons an hour. And they have 2 or 3 different levels, or different, this one's the smallest one they have, where it does 100 gallons an hour. They have a bigger one that does 350 gallons an hour. And then they have a big one, the biggest one out there, that makes, I think, 500 gallons an hour, pasteurizes. But if you were gonna use a 500 gallon an hour one, you need a bigger press. And there's some commercial cider guys who use, it's called a belt press, where the cider goes up and down, and it's a pretty cool machine. And then they also have a screw press, which it treats like a screw. A lot of the sewage guys, it comes from a lot of the sewage guys who clean up sewage and stuff use that, but then they made one especially for apple cider. And then they also have a side-by-side press, and a lot of the commercial guys use that side-by-side because it's very easy. And we have the old rack and cloth, as you guys can see here. You guys can saw the information, or you guys saw my last videos, and I'm going to show you guys today how this exactly works here. But this is probably the oldest cider press we have. But in my opinion, it is the best, because last time we processed 4.5 gallons per bushel, and that's just awesome yielding numbers. The commercial guys are happy if they get 3 gallons per bushel. Some of them only get 2.5 gallons per bushel, but we get 4.5 gallons, so I'm not complaining. So my brother Radu, he's the man in charge behind all this apple cider stuff. We are, me and Adrian, we do all the hard work and stuff, but he took over doing all the paperwork and stuff and keeping that in line, because we're inspected. We got a HACCP plan. We're inspected by the FDA, and our kitchen, the bakery, and this facility here is inspected by the USDA and the health department. So we're state inspected here on our farm. So whenever we go to different events and stuff, we just show them our certification from the state, and we're good to go. So my brother Radu is actually doing some other stuff here on the farm, but he's in charge of this, and he could talk more about the process of the cider. And one thing about this pasteurizer, it uses UV light to kill off the bacteria. And one thing that a big misconception is about our cider is that people think that whenever we pasteurize it, it doesn't fermentate anymore. Because whenever you press raw apple cider, after a week and a half to 2 weeks, the cider ferments, and then it turns into hard cider. And then if you leave it long enough, it turns into vinegar. But with this machine right here, the cider stays about 2 to 3 weeks pasteurized, and after a while, then it will still churn into hard cider or into vinegar. And with flash pasteurization cider, where they heat it up and cool it back down, the cider doesn't ferment anymore because they broke down that pectin. And once the pectin is broken down, it's just, it's not very ideal to continue doing it. So that's why one of the benefits that we have with our cider is that if we don't sell it, we could put it in our vinegar tanks and then turn it into vinegar. But if you were using flash pasteurization, then you couldn't do that anymore. So our forklift died, and we got to use our skid steer. So these are the bins of these are Golden Delicious. Now let's just see, that's the hail damage there, and not too bad. They're good cider apples. So we got the Red Delicious on here right now, and what we do here, we got this fancy lift. We turn it on, and then it raises it, and then you pick it up just like that. Then go ahead and close this part right here, and you pull it. So now I'm on the other side of the washer, and we got to use this. It's just a fertilizer injector, but you can use it to put chlorine. So that's 10 parts per million chlorine in this bucket. And for us, since our food safety requires sanitize the apples before they go into the cider, so our washer here has 2 rows of the mixtures there, and it puts out the chlorine, so the apples get chlorinated. And 10 parts per million is safe for the consumer. So then it comes to here, they get all nice and brushed, and continue down the line. This is our last press of the day. It is currently about 3 o'clock. So this is a 60-gallon tank we got here recently. So it could be pressing cider a lot quicker. So this is gonna have to empty out the pasteurizer, but this is the last press. I'm gonna start cleaning up the floor here, start cleaning up the sheets. And we are currently at, right here, 277 gallons. We're pressing 100 gallons an hour. And that's another, I think it's a 60-gallon tank. So that's give or take 50 gallons right there. So we're doing pretty good overall. Now it's time to clean it up and get it going. It's just super dry. I mean, there's like no moisture. I mean, it's super dry. It's not even moist or anything. And what we're working on right now, Radu there, he's a man with a plan. We are working on making some kind of type of dog treats or something out of it, because we usually just feed it to the cows. But if we have less waste, it equals more money in my pocket. So it's we pressed 4 bins, and this is 1 bin full of the apple cider pulp.